It's my pleasure to be with you. This is the Anglican Cable Network Nigeria, ACNN. You are on to the news on the hour. I am Zubechi Frank. As the Catholic Church buried the 2 priests and 17 parishioners killed by herdsmen at St. Ignatius Archbishop Parish at Mbalum, Benue State, Catholic faithful stormed the streets nationwide to protest their killings. From Lagos to Abuja and other cities across the country, Catholic faithful challenged the federal government to do everything possible to bring the killers to book.
Enough is enough, BUHARI. Stop killing.
In this solidarity march, the Anglican Communion stood with their fellow Christians in the protest, as the primate of all Nigeria, the Most Reverend Nicholas D. Oko, challenged the federal government on the oath of security of lives and property of it.
We bring you from the Church of Nigeria the condolences over the issues that happened recently, which has occupied the attention of the country today. We are very, very much grieved. When the government came to power, like it was said to us in this homily, we were giving hope that everybody will be part and parcel of it. But soon enough, it became very clear that it was a rhetoric. And so, what we want to say to the government is that it should remember that government is a contract between the people and those who are governed. The people have tried to keep their own part by being obedient to the civil government. But the government should try to keep its own part by protecting the people, not a section of the country, not some individual.
Primate Oko called on the federal government to disarm the herdsmen.
We have the Nigerian Army, we have the Nigerian Air Force, we have the Nigerian Navy. They are capable, if given the right orders, to protect Nigeria. They can go to the bushes. They can go to the bushes in our neighborhood with the aid of helicopters and so on and fish out these people and disarm them. As long as the arms are still in their hands, we are not saying anything. All the idea of setting up committee here, one committee there, one other committee there, one task force here, what has these people been asked to do? Take away the arms from them, from the killers, and then the people will sleep well, and the country will be at peace. Until that is done, there is no hope yet. No committee can achieve anything. Because the moment the people leave the place, the weapons are still in the hands of the killers. They will go on killing and displacing the natives and taking over their land as conquered people who have conquered the land.
He further called on Nigerians, especially Christians, not to be intimidated by what is happening.
This is a psychological warfare that is being foisted on the church. We are aware quite okay that Christians, Muslims, even non-believers have been killed by the murderous herdsmen. But this is a psychological warfare on the country, an attempt to intimidate everybody. We must not be intimidated. We must not be intimidated. We must not be intimidated. We must remain resolute to recover Nigeria from the hands of the herdsmen. Whether they have come from Mali, whether they have come from Niger, whether they have come from Chad, we must recover our country.
In the same vein, Governor Samuel Otom of Benue State reiterated his call for the arrest of the leadership of Mayati Allah Kotel Hor for allegedly masterminding the attacks that had claimed 492 lives since the beginning of the year.
Are not farmers. They were not in the farm. The church where they were holding the mass has no grass. It is therefore curious why Reverend Fathers who do not have farm and parishioners who were worshiping God would be killed by herdsmen in the church.
Meanwhile, Christians home and abroad rebuked the federal government for not doing enough to protect the lives and properties of Nigeria.
In Zamfara, in Kaduna, and all of Nigeria. Now, if the people who kill these Nigerians are Libyans or Malians, let us face them either diplomatically or by war. If they are our neighbors, let us find a way of settling the issues through dialogue. There is a way that government can do this. If it is not, then we are exposed. But what we want to say with one voice by this protest is that enough of the killings and enough, we want life, we need our country to progress in the way and manner that it should be based on peace. Stop the violence.
But different church, we cannot count how many churches they are born. A love is a love. We want good governors. We want good governors to come and lead us. We need a good leaders. We need a good leader. May God Almighty bring a good leader for this government. We need peace. We need peace. We need peace. No more. We say no more. Enough is enough. No more killing. No more killing.
Without justice, there will be no peace.
Yes.
The House of Clergy has appointed Reverend Canon Nelson Iluno of Nnewi Diocese as an editor-in-chief of Calvary Compass magazine of the House of Clergy of the Church of Nigeria Anglican Communion, and Venerable Ramdi Raphael as an editor from Busasa Diocese area. This appointment was done during the meeting of the House of Clergy executives at Abuja. Nelson Iluno is the author of Spiritual Formation, Give to the Mind Your Fears, and a glossary of ecclesiastical and liturgical terms. The Yoruba Sociocultural Organization ACNNTV has advised President Muhammad Buhari to stop lamenting as Nigerians are tired of lamentations. The group said Nigerians were tired of lamentations, noting that it was high time the president sat up and walked. The group's spokesman Yinka Odumakin stated this while reacting to Buhari's criticism of his predecessors. It would be recalled that President Muhammad Buhari hinted on probing OBASANJO over the failed $16 billion power project. Reacting, Odumakin asked Buhari to prevail on the National Assembly to work since his party, the All Progressives Congress, has the majority in the parliament, adding that he should take action and do something, noting that human life no longer mean anything in the country and people are being killed like fowls. Finally, President Muhammad Buhari took on his major critic, former President Olusegun Obasanjo. This happened in Abuja when the president was addressing the pro-Buhari group. According to him, the former president's implementation of the $16 billion electrical project he spearheaded left too many questions unanswered. Buhari further said that any discerning mind would be quick to ask why Nigerians could not enjoy efficient power supply after so much money had been spent on electricity for 16 years.
Between 1999 and 2014, Nigeria getting 2.1 million barrels a day is being produced. 2.1 average, 1999, 2014. And the average cost of $100 American per barrel. It went up to 143. I'm sure some of you, you know, for your businesses, maybe you know it. So Nigeria was earning 2.1 million times 100 times 16 years, 7 days a week. When we came, it collapsed to 37, 38, and it was oscillating between 40 and 50 for some time. I went to the governor of Central Bank. Thank goodness I did not sack him. He was still there. I went with my cap in my hand. I said, "Why? He says there was no saving, only debt. And do you know more than I do the condition of the roads? Some of them were not repaired since PTF days. And one of the former heads of state, between that time, was bragging that it spent more than 15 billion American dollars, not Naira, on power. Where is the power? Where is the power? And now we have to pay the debt?
In reaction, former President Olusegun Obasanjo said he is ready for probe over the $16 billion power project. He made this known in a statement by his media aide, Kehinde Akinyemi. In the statement, Obasanjo stated that statement credited to Buhari challenging the $16 billion spent during his administration on power has reached. He recommends that the president and his co-travelers should read chapters 41, 42, 43, and 47 of My Watch for insight and perspectives on the power sector and indeed what transpired when the allegation of $16 billion on power projects was previously made, and that if he cannot read the 3-volume book, he should detail his aides to do so and summarize the chapters in a language that he will easily understand. Chief Obasanjo challenges and in fact encourages anybody to set up another inquiry if in doubt and unsatisfied with the EFCC report and that of the Honorable Aminu Tambowala-led ad hoc committee. Former President Olusegun Obasanjo had said that any leader who cannot perform and provide good leadership should be voted out of office. He said these at the Lagos State University LASU Convocation Lecture in Lagos on the topic Role of Tertiary Education in Promoting Social Cohesion and Peace, Opportunities and Challenges for Nigeria. Obasanjo, who did not mention President Muhammad Buhari in his speech, however, said leaders who had failed should not think of seeking re-election but should get out of office. According to Obasanjo, any leader in any walks of life that cannot give leadership, maintain good governance, and cannot understand what leadership is and maintain and cherish values within the cultures must shift out no matter any level of leader. A former Minister of Education, Obi Ezekwesili, has challenged President Muhammad Buhari and the substantive Minister of Petroleum Resources and the Nigerian National Petroleum Corporation over the lack of transparency in the petrol subsidy arrangement. While speaking at the high-level workshop on international anti-corruption best practices organized by the Civil Society Legislative Advocacy Center in conjunction with Transparency International in Abuja, Ezekwesili strongly frowned at the alleged secrecy at the NNPC and called on Buhari to tell Nigerians how much the government was spending in subsidizing premium motor spirits, popularly known as petrol, since there had not been subsidy in the country's budget for some years. She also added that nations that decided to tackle corruption made progress within a decade and that if Nigeria as a nation wants to tackle corruption, it can be possible. But anyone who is going to tackle corruption must be someone who goes all the way because there is no shortcut in fighting corruption. President Muhammad Buhari has dared the National Assembly to confront him publicly on capital projects. He made this statement when he hosted the Buhari Support Organization led by Ahmed Ali, Controller General of the Nigerian Customs Service. The president wondered what members of the National Assembly have been doing, even when some of them have spent over a decade as lawmakers.
This year's and last year's budget I took to the National Assembly was the highest in capital projects, more than 1.3 trillion naira. Let anybody come and confront me publicly in the National Assembly. What have they been doing? Some of them have been there for 10 years. What have they been doing?
The National Assembly had earlier disagreed with Buhari over the purchase of $496 million Tucano aircraft from the US without its approval. Buhari later brought to the Senate and House of Reps on April 13th for approval for the payment of the aircraft. The senator representing Delta Central, Ove Omo-Agege, has said that he would not testify before a joint ad hoc committee set up to investigate the invasion and removal of maize from the Senate chamber. Senator Omo-Agege said the matter was sub judice. It would be recalled that Senator Omo-Agege on Wednesday, April 18th, allegedly led talks to the Senate chamber to steal the maize in the full glare of fellow senators and security personnel during plenary. The event took place barely a week after his suspension for 90 legislative days from the Senate, following the recommendations of the Committee on Ethics and Privileges and Public Petitions led by Senator Samuel Anyanwu. But appearing before the committee for him to respond to the allegation preferred against him, the lawmaker declined comment.
Because I am in court, I will not make any comment with respect to this. But I look forward to the day when I will have such opportunity. In addition to what I just said, I should also let you know I'm not a coward by any means. If I have anything to say, if I have any explanation to give, I will give it any day, anywhere. I'm not scared of anybody. But because I am in court, that is why I have chosen not to respond to the allegations raised. So it is not out of cowardice. And I'm sure if you were to be in this place, and I pray you don't,
President Muhammad Buhari has hosted members of the Federal Executive Council, FEC, service chiefs and heads of security agencies to breaking of Ramadan fast at the presidential villa, Abuja. President Buhari said he decided to start this year's breaking of fast with the ministers and service chiefs to share experience with them. The president charged the ministers as well as the heads of various security agencies to remain alive to their responsibilities so as to ensure that the change agenda was implemented effectively for sustainable future of Nigeria. The president thanked the ministers and the service chiefs for joining him to break the fast. The Director General of the National Intelligence Agency, Ahmed Rafiu, who spoke on behalf of the guests, said the event had given them the opportunity to renew their absolute loyalty to the president and the country, and reassured the president that they would continue to serve the country with renewed vigor and fear of God. In attendance were ministers, service chiefs, chief of staff to the president, Abba Kyari, presidential aides and heads of paramilitary agencies, including the Inspector General of Police, Idris Ibrahim. The president will also be hosting leadership of the National Assembly, religious and political groups, where he would interact and share experiences on ways of achieving peace, unity and socio-economic development of the country. More stories coming to you after the break. Please stay with us. Thanks for joining us. For more on our top stories, please visit our website at acnntv.com or youtube.com/ACNNTV. To be up to date with our news and other programs, please download the ACNN app for Android from Google Play Store. And now to some foreign news. The Anglican Archbishop of South Sudan has led 5 days of mediated peace talks between the warring parties in South Sudan. The talks reached agreement on 3 of the 11 demands made by opposition groups, including a recommitment to the cessation of hostilities. Talks on the remaining 8 unresolved issues will now continue under the leadership of the Intergovernmental Authority on Development. Archbishop Justin Badi Arama, who was only installed as primate of the Anglican Church of South Sudan last month, led the talks in the Ethiopian capital Addis Ababa alongside a number of other South Sudanese religious leaders. Speaking at the end of the talks, Archbishop Justin said that the religious leaders met with the factions in Addis Ababa for the hectic round of talks to continue the process of revitalization in response to the pain that people of South Sudan had been experiencing. The 22 people who died when a bomb exploded at the end of a concert by US singer Ariana Grande in Manchester last year were remembered in the summer service in Manchester Cathedral. The national commemoration was attended by the Archbishop of York, John Sentamo, and by Prince William and senior politicians across the political divide, including Prime Minister Theresa May. The service, held a year after the explosion, was relayed to other cathedrals, including York Minster, the Roman Catholic Cathedral in Liverpool, and the Presbyterian Church of Scotland Cathedral in Glasgow, and was also shown on large outdoor screens in the city. Speaking in advance of the service, Archbishop Sentamo said that he would be at the service standing alongside the Bishop of Manchester and many other leaders from a great city in shared griefs at the loss of so many young lives. Elsewhere, the Diocese of Manchester released a video of the city's Archdeacon Kieran Lund reciting a prayer based on the acrostic Manchester for the lives lost a year ago.
A prayer today for the lives lost a year ago. M is for Manchester. May the God of all hope strengthen each one of us in this city today. A is for ask, and we ask for the Spirit of Pentecost to continue to give us life. N is for nothing, because nothing can change the love that God has for all that he has created. And C is for Christ. Christ comes to bring healing and wholeness into our lives. H is for hold. We will hold each other in the fiercest of times and storms. E is for everyone. Everyone receives the love of God. S is for sing. We will sing a new song of hope and love and peace. T, together. Together, unafraid, we continue to strive for peace. E is for each child, each woman, each man. Every person today will know the healing love of God. And R is for remember. We will remember those 22 lives that were lost a year ago today. And for all, we pray the abiding peace and love of God. Amen.
So that's it on this edition of the News on the Hour. We want to thank you for watching. I am Zubechi Frank.